Hello, thank you for tuning into this video to learn more about Scenic Cruises. I am Jill Noble. I'm the Southwest Regional Sales Director. And before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here so we can get started and I can tell you all about Scenic Cruises. Give me just 1 second to get this going. Okay, and turn on, let me make sure our videos have some sound here. Okay. Okay, so I am going to get started. So like I said, I am Jill Noble, Regional Sales Director for Scenic Cruises. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am here to tell you about Scenic Group. Scenic Group, we are actually two different brands, Scenic and Emerald. Today we're going to focus on Scenic, but a little bit of background for you on the Scenic Group. We are 39 years old, and we are actually an Australian-founded company. Glenn and Karen Maroney, who you see pictured here, they started the company as a coach tours in the interior Australia. They did that for a bit and found out that their guests really wanted to be on the rivers of Europe. So those European waterways is really where the guests were all starting to move towards. So Glenn started chartering his own river ships. He filled those so quickly that he decided, I need to start building my own. Fast forward to today, we now own 2 shipyards and we build all of our own ships for our 2 brands, Scenic and Emerald. Scenic is our ultra luxury, ultra inclusive brand, which is what we are focusing on today. And I will tell you about both our river product and our ocean product. And then Emerald is our luxury brand. And very, very nicely included. Also includes river ships and ocean ships, which you'll see our yachts here. There's another video in Emma's virtual program here for Emerald Cruises if you're interested in learning more about those. But let's go forward with Scenic. Scenic, as I mentioned, is our ultra luxury, ultra inclusive brand, and we have river ships, sailing, and we have ocean ships. Our ocean ships are our Discovery yachts, which we will learn a little bit more about in the coming slides. But our river ships have 68 to 160 guests on those ships. The fluctuation in the number of guests is dependent upon the river that it's sailing. So as I mentioned before, we build all of our own ships specifically for the river or the ocean that they're sailing on. So if it's a more shallow, narrow river, obviously you would need a smaller ship. So that's where you see that 68 guests. Those are going to be our smaller ships along the Mekong or the Douro, all the way up to 160 guests or the max on the river. And that's going to be our Rhine, Main, and Danube sailings. Now on the ocean side, we currently have 2 ultra luxury Discovery yachts sailing, and these have 228 guests. However, in the polar regions, we will only put 200 guests on those ships. And I will go forward starting with these Discovery yachts. So you'll see 2 right here. Like I said, 228 passengers. We have Scenic Eclipse 1 and Scenic Eclipse 2, ultra luxury, ultra inclusive. And I'm going to first start with just a quick little video so you can get a glimpse of what these beautiful yachts are about and some of the places that they visit. They're truly beautiful vessels and ultra inclusive, like I mentioned before. So let's go a little bit, I'll touch a little bit here and then I'll go into a little more detail in a few slides after this. But these beautiful vessels, we have 2 helicopters on board and a submersible. Those operate in different regions around the world depending upon laws and such. But in the Antarctica, if you're sailing, these ships were actually purpose-built for the Antarctica, so that's really where they shine, but you are able to use the helicopter and the submersible in Antarctica. So you get a glimpse above the water, below the water, in the air, and then on the land. So we also have a 5,900 square foot spa on board, which I will show you more in just a moment. And then over 130 brands of whiskey in this whiskey bar that you can see here over here on the left-hand side. We also have a champagne and a sake bar as well. So moving forward to the suites. So the smallest suite on board is going to be 344 square feet, all suites, all verandas, separate lounge area in each of the suites. We have king size bed with remote controls on either side, so fully remote movable sides on those king size beds, some of the most comfortable beds I think I've ever slept in. Butler service in every category on board, and this means room service until midnight. So those butlers are there for the guests to make reservations for the room service. Like I mentioned, they're the ones responsible for filling the mini bars that you see there, and that's specifically what you would like in that mini bar. You tell your butler at the beginning of the week, and that's what you will have. So those would be our suites. And then we have 10 specialty dining restaurants on board, and these specialty dining restaurants are included in the cost of the cruise, so no additional cost. Some require reservations, some do not, so your butler can help with those reservations, but 10 specialty dining restaurants on board. And then we have a 5,900 square foot spa. There's a co-ed side and a female side. We have the hair salon and the massage therapy. That is the only piece of the spa area that you'll pay an additional charge for. Everything else is included. So the thermal loungers, the plunge pools, the infrared saunas, everything you see pictured here is included in the cost of the cruise, including the wellness area here, which is the gym facility. So there's a small but mighty gym on board, but then we also have wellness coaches on board that will do the stretch classes, yoga classes, Pilates, those types of things. Those are all included as well on Scenic Eclipse 1 and 2. And these two ships, Eclipse 1 and 2, we have 3 different voyage modes on our Scenic Discovery yachts. Our expedition yacht voyages are going to be the polar region. So that's going to be the Arctic area, the Antarctic area. Those are going to be the expedition. The full expedition team of 20 will be on board those cruises, and they are the much more active expedition style cruising. Up at the top, you'll see the signature yacht voyages, and these are going to be more of the relaxed voyages you'll find in the Mediterranean or the Caribbean. Not as large of a discovery team on board because you're not doing those hardcore expedition type excursions. And then in the middle, you've got your discovery yacht voyages, and these voyages are going to be a little bit of both, some expedition style and some of your more leisurely laid back style excursions on board. So it's kind of a nice mix in between. So sailing on our yachts, like I mentioned, these yachts are purpose-built for those polar regions, so that's really where they shine. You will have those ultra luxury suites that I just showed you. That in the middle picture there, that's our theater and the rounds. So that's where the discovery team will have the lectures, kind of prepping you for what's happening the next day. That's where the entertainment in the evening happens. And then next to that, you'll see the expedition equipment, and that's in our mudroom. The parkas are provided for our guests, and they do take those home. Those are theirs to keep. We also provide the boots. Those do stay on the ship, but they're there to use. So really the only thing the guests have to pack is the underclothes, warm clothes. Everything else is included for you. And then our discovery team I told you about, you've got up to 20 on board, which means, if you remember, I only said 200 are in those polar regions. So we've got 20 discovery teams. That's 1 for every 10. So our groups are very small when you go out on those land excursions on Antarctica. So that's a little bit about Antarctica. We could do a whole separate little session on Antarctica, and maybe we will. So ask him about that, and we can do that too if you're interested in Antarctica. So this is a nice little calendar that shows you where the 2 ships are throughout the year. So you'll kind of see they move every 6 to 8 weeks around the world. So these 2 ships do circumnavigate the world. Purpose-built for those polar regions, but they hit the entire world. So you can see Fiji. We're in Costa Rica, we're in South America, the Baltics, Mediterranean, Caribbean. These 2 ships make it all the way around the world. And we have just announced a brand new generation of our Scenic Discovery yachts, Scenic Icon. She's going to be brand new. We're actually in the process of announcing this across the US this week. As a matter of fact, this is Scenic Icon. So Scenic Icon is going to be just a little bit bigger with 270 guests, still built for the Arctic, but this ship is going to be sailing 70% warm water. So Scenic Eclipse 1 and 2 are 70% cold 30% warm. This one's going to be built more for the warm water area. So 270 guests, still all veranda suites, still all your premium beverages will be included all day, every day. All your tipping, gratuities, and airport transfers are all included in the cost of the cruise. There's nothing extra to pay for at the end. Okay, well, there's the 270 guest capacity. As I mentioned, we will be hitting 110 ports in 21 countries. 26 of those are new ports that Scenic Eclipse 1 and 2 do not stop at. So remember, I said this one's going to be more warm water. So those would be those 26 new ports. There's going to be 30 departures in our inaugural season. So this one I mentioned can also sail those polar regions. Of course it can, because it is one of our Discovery yachts. So we'll still have the 20 experts on board. It's a Scenic Polar P6 Polar Class rating, which means it can cut through the thickest ice with no problem. It's a steel fortified hull that can cut through that ice, no problem at all. That's what that Polar Class rating is. GPS dynamic positioning means that we can stop on a dime and turn at 360 without putting an anchor down. So we will not be disturbing anything underneath the ship. And that's important wherever you're sailing around the world, but especially in those polar regions. We have an advanced HVAC system that recycles the air. It pushes it out and pulls the fresh air back in. And then we also have that eco-conscious design with the highest level of the waste management, water treatment, and low sulfur fuel, which means these are some of the cleanest running ships out there. These are just a glance at the suites. 365 square feet is going to be our smallest suite on board, all the way up to the Icon Penthouse, which is 2,690 square feet. So almost 2,700 square feet for our largest penthouse suite on board these beautiful ships. We still have the 2 helicopters like Scenic Eclipse 1 and Scenic Eclipse 2, but what we will be adding we will be adding complimentary helicopter flight seating for the early bookers. And also helicopter landings on places like golf courses, vineyards, cultural sites, which we don't really do a lot of that with the Eclipse 1 and 2, but this ship will be doing more of the immersive excursions using that helicopter. And then, of course, our submersible will be on board as well, and that'll be used where we can, based on weather and local laws. World-class wellness and spa. You're going to hear me right when I say this, 18,000 square foot spa on board. It's 2 stories, so it's 3 times the size of the spa on board the Scenic Icon versus the Eclipse 1 and 2. And that's really because these voyages are going to be focused more on rejuvenation and wellness. They're more warm water sailing and more leisurely sailing. So it's a bigger spa. You need that. 9 pools on board, the Vitality pools, and we still have that dedicated yoga and Pilates studio on board as well. So I told you we have 10 restaurants on Eclipse. We're going to have 15 on the new Icon. So we'll have the original 10 that you'll find on our Scenic Eclipse yachts, and then you'll have 5 new additional restaurants on board, all included in the cost of the cruise. And then I think we talked about this too. The Discovery team will be on board. Our Scenic and Rich are very special excursions that we have included, along with our Scenic Free Choice excursions, which are also included in the cost of the cruise. Our In the Round Theater on the new ship will seat 270, so it will have a seat in there for everybody on that ship. So 270 will fit in the new theater, so it is a little bit bigger. And then we have open bridge access all the time on board, not only Scenic Icon, but all of our Scenic River and Ocean ships. Our open bridge access all the time. You can go in and have a chat with the captain and sit back and have a drink or a snack in there with the captain and talk. So that's going to be the end of the ocean portion. I'm going to talk to you now about our Scenic River product. And let me show you the video first, and then we will start talking about those.
The difference is in the details. Scenic ultra luxury river cruising. Personalized travel with an award-winning reputation. Innovative 5-star ships and an expertly trained crew. Spacious, luxurious suites and butler service. All-inclusive dining venues with premium beverages. Health your way. A choice of immersive excursions and exclusive events. Small ship access to the heart of Europe. Scenic, in a class of its own.
So just like our ocean products, Scenic River is also all-inclusive. Butler service in every category on the rivers as well. So even the entry-level just Riverview room will include butler service. We also include all of your drinks, premium beverages all day, every day. Wine and dine as you like. We have specialty dining restaurants on board, which I will show you in just a moment. We have a salt therapy lounge on board, which is what that lower left-hand picture is there. That's open 24 hours a day, so you can step in there, relax a little while at your leisure. Round-trip airport transfers are included. Wi-Fi is included. All your gratuities included on board and on shore on Scenic River. So this is going to be the Panorama Lounge and Bar, just to give you an idea of what our river ships look like. Nice and open air, floor to ceiling windows. This is one of my favorite spots. This is really the heartbeat of the ship where the port talks happen. The bartender is there and there's servers walking around all day until the last person leaves in the evening. This is our entry-level balcony suite. They start at 205 square feet. And the balcony is actually built into the room. So when you go up to the edge there, you push an electronic button. That's one of our owner Glenn's patented designs. That was his invention. So you don't lose any space in the room, which is what I love. So that's just a glimpse of that. This is our Royal Balcony Suite, a little bit bigger. They go from 305. Our suites go from 305 to 520 square feet on the river products. This one is our Royal Balcony Suite with a separate seating area. This will be the Royal Panorama Suite. We have two of these at the back of the ship. These are great, beautiful rooms. You have a great view out the back. This is the Royal Owner Suite. This is the 520 square foot room with a separate living room. And you walk through to the bedroom back there, which is what you can see here in this photo. And we have 5 dining experiences on board our Scenic River. Crystal Dining is going to be the main dining room, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then you have the River Cafe down there at the bottom. That's a quick grab and go bite to eat. Portobello's is one of the specialty dining restaurants that seats 32 people. And then Table La Rive is reserved for our Royal Class suites and also the Junior suites. And that's going to be our chef's table. It's a 3-hour dining experience. That's fabulous. And then the 5th is going to be the room service is available until midnight because you do have the butlers. Here's we sail all the major European waterways in Europe, including the Mekong in Southeast Asia and the Douro in Portugal. We also have free choice excursions on board Scenic River, like on Scenic Eclipse. These are very immersive excursions. You have a choice of usually 2 to 4 excursions per stop to choose from that no additional cost, in addition to a Scenic Enrich program once per 7 nights. It's an experience usually in a palace. There's champagne involved, beautiful music, beautiful dancing, only just for your group on the ship, and that's included in the cost of the cruise. And this is just some customer satisfaction ratings for one of those experiences. So we do sail all year round from February to December, which means you can hit all the seasons. Just a couple of our itineraries, Gems of the Danube, is going to be one of the most popular for newcomers to the river cruising. Rhine Highlights is another one. You can't go wrong with the Danube or the Rhine Highlights. These are all 7-night sailings. Windmills, Tulips in Belgium. This is going to be one of our springtime sailings, very popular again as well. And I am starting to run out of time, so I'm talking quickly. The beautiful Bordeaux. The Bordeaux region is always very popular, and only Scenic, our Emerald product, does not sail in the Bordeaux region. So this is just an overview of the inclusions on Scenic. Everything's included on Scenic. No credit card is asked for when you walk on the ships at the beginning because there's nothing additional to pay unless you decide to use the spa, massage therapy, for instance, or the gift shop. So everything is included there. Thank you so much. And if you would like further information, feel free to reach out to Emma Kakmak. She has all the current promotions and we have some extras thrown in there for you too. But thanks so much for listening and we hope to see you on board.